Good morning, everyone present here. Before we begin, we would want to express our gratitude to our sponsors, without whom this event would not have been possible. My Froyo Land is the land of your frozen yogurt dreams. Imagine taking a trip down Willy Wonka's chocolate factory and creating your own mix of swirly goodness. At My Froyo Land stores, you can customize your cup any way you like. Fill your cup with any mix from selection of over 100 rotating flavors and toppings and pay by weight. My Froyo Land is the place to enjoy a healthy new treat with all your family and friends. We are bringing the joy of frozen yogurt to India one swirl at a time. Saurav's Car Mart, established in 2008, is carrying out the business of automobile consultancy with trading, sale, purchase, exchange, and finance of old and new cars at the best rates with hassle-free paperwork. They accept all major card payments and sell certified cars and provide after-sales support and roadside assistance. Door-to-door valuation of car facilities is also available. Please feel free to call them for any kind of consultancy regarding your car. They have an in-house garage to provide a special care. Their showroom is located in Intali near Sayarda, Kolkata. Customer satisfaction is their profit. Book your dream car right now and give them a chance to serve you. We will begin shortly. Good morning, Father Principal, Father Vice Principal, our distinguished speaker of the day, Mr. Tarun Arora, our moderator, Ms. Archita Tiwari, members of the advisory committee, faculty members, and all students of St. Xavier's College Autonomous, Kolkata. We warmly welcome you to our annual International Managerial Oratory and Debating event, X-Confero 22, Undiminished Passion. Focusing on its core competency, the members of the Xavier's Management Society conducts this event with an aim to ignite the oratory and debating skills of the leaders and managers of tomorrow, while giving them a chance to exchange arguments and express their diverse opinions. I would now like to invite Reverend Father Peter Rokiam, SJ, Vice Principal of the Department of Management Studies and BCom Evening of St. Xavier's College Autonomous, Kolkata, to deliver the inaugural address.
A very good morning to Reverend Father Dr. Dominic Xavier, our principal, St. Xavier's College Autonomous, Kolkata. Professor Saugata Banerjee, Dean of BMS, Dr. Sohili Ghosh, Dean of Commerce Evening, Mr. Tarun Arora, the speaker of the day, Mrs. Archita Tiwari, the moderator of this session, our esteemed dignitaries, members of the advisory committee, faculty members, alumni and alumnae, guests, and all my dear students. With the belief that speech is power, speech is to persuade, to convert, to compel, X-Confero 2022, organized by the Xavier's Management Society, aims to nurture the future managers and leaders like you, my dear students, by giving a chance to engage in a plethora of intense debates to bring out your true potential. The skills required for public speaking are cultivated by years of consistent hard work and practice. A good leader is the one who possesses great public speaking qualities. Driven by this motive, and in order to take the tradition to a new level, the students of Xavier's Management Society took X-Confero to an international level this year, with participation from reputed institutions like University of California and Indiana University, among others. By organizing a managerial oratory and debating event, they provided a platform to young minds to explore the implicit side of management through meaningful discussions, constructive debates, and elaborate presentations. X-Confero 2022, based on the theme Colosseum, has been a battle of wits. Our tagline, undiminished passion, replicates the undying zeal of the youth today and instills in them a feeling of unstoppable ambitions. Spanning over a period of 8 days, this event included a number of distinctive rounds like group discussions, Asian parliamentary debates, tag team extempore, and many more, designed to put the competitors' inventiveness to the test and to discover their actual capabilities. XMS had the honor of hosting Mrs. Dravisha Kotek, TEDx speaker and founder of Learn for Less. Mr. Farhat Asidwala, one of the top 10 young entrepreneurs in India, according to your story, as the judges for the final of X-Confero 2022. Continuing the favor, a forum of quintessential speakers comprising of Mrs. Kiran Bedi, Sister B.K. Shivani, Mr. Vipin Sodhi, and Mr. Ashok Ramachandran will ignite the minds of emerging leaders with an array of subjects of knowledge and wisdom, ranging from emerging trends in FMGC to leading people and finding a key to happiness in modern mental health. As captivating as it may look, the event's success can be attributed to the hard work and dedication of all the members of the Xavier's Management Society. Every team member's passion and attention in preparing and executing the event reflects their earnestness and devotion. A special thanks to Reverend Father Dr. Dominic Savio, our principal, for his constant support and guidance. Professor Saugata Banerjee, Dean of BMS, for his encouragement and coordination. And Professors Sukanya Sarkil and Supriya Patro for mentoring the team XMS led by the Joint Secretaries Navia Bheti and Simran Suneja, and to all the faculty members for your cooperation for the team XMS. To all my dear students, I hope that these sessions is an inspiring and enriching one for all of you to experience. I hope and believe the enthusiasm continues to grow onwards and upwards in all our future endeavors. Wish you all the very best, and may God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Vice Principal, for your generous words. Your constant support and kind words keep our students motivated. I would like to take this opportunity to call upon our esteemed speaker, Mr. Tarun Arora. Mr. Tarun Arora is the Chief Executive Officer at Zydus Wellness Limited, amongst the top 500 limited companies in the country in terms of market capitalization. Zydus Wellness is a key player in the consumer health space, with powerful brands like Sugar Free, Glucon-D, Complan, Nutrilite, and Avail. He was the chief executive at Danone Waters India prior to joining Zydus. Mr. Arora has also worked with various FMCG and retail brands like Wipro, Bharti, Walmart, Godrej, and Sara Lee. In his tenure over the last 4 years, he has been instrumental in turnaround of the company's performance by accelerating the top line and the bottom line growth of back of the innovations, laying the foundation for international business and building a high-performance leadership team. I would also like to call upon our moderator for the day, Ms. Archita Tiwari. Ms. Archita Tiwari is a soft skills trainer and communication coach, having 6+ years of experience in the field of training. She has trained over thousands of students and corporate employees so far. She has conducted corporate training sessions for Tata Group of Industries, Aditya Birla Group, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and many other organizations. Ms. Tiwari has been an active member of Toastmaster International and has also won various competitions and held leadership positions in the same. Thank you so much, Mr. Arora and Ms. Tiwari, for gracing our event with your presence. We are honored to have you both with us here today. Now, I would like to hand over the further proceedings of the session to Ms. Tiwari.
Welcome to both of you to St. Xavier's. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. Thank you so much for your beautiful words. And thank you, Shruti, for inviting us and for giving us that gracious introduction.
Thank you. Thank you. Really privileged to be here and look forward to an interesting session.
Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to X-Confero 2022. I'm sure that all of us are very excited to be here, and let us dive straight into the session for which we've gathered here today morning. We have with us Mr. Arora, who's kindly agreed to take his time out from his busy schedule and grace us with his presence. A lot has been said about his introduction, so I wouldn't repeat the same, but I would really like to thank you, sir, on behalf of St. Xavier's family for being here with us. And diving straight into the discussion, I would like to, with your permission, of course, ask you the very first question that I think would be very helpful for all the students present here.
Sure. it's my pride and privilege to be here, because quite often we get carried away with our work and really lose track of where we really started. And I'll be very happy if I can be of any value to the students out here. And this is a great institution. And if any of my sharing of experiences adds value to the students at Xavier's, it's a great thing for me to.
Thank you, sir. Going ahead with the very first question, I'm sure that you know a lot of students pursue entrepreneurship, or they want to lead organizations in the years to come, like about 5 to 7, 10 years from today. And what, according to you, would be the certain challenges that a brand faces while developing and launching a new product into the market? Because it's always very challenging to compete with the existing products of the same nature and in the same category. Since you've done so much of work in the industry and you have such a rich experience, what would be those challenges that you would like to tell us about, and their probable solutions?
It's a very interesting question, because a lot of entrepreneurs are have ideas. They want to launch some of the products, services, something that they want to do. While there is no one size fits solution, because what product category, what service space that you really want to operate in will define what your challenges will be and how you deal with it. But very, very crucial, I think I've seen is when you have an idea, when you really want to go on your entrepreneurial journey, or even if you are an employee and the concept of entrepreneur within the organization, and the organization has given you an opportunity to do, follow your heart and create something within the space. And we these days do try to work around those as well, because there are lots of ideas youngsters have. And you can't just be a manager. Manager by definition is risk minimizer, and entrepreneurs are risk takers. So you want a balance between the two. And entrepreneurs, when they're taking risks, when they're creating something new, I think 2 or 3 things that I've seen very, very important. I why I think a lot of entrepreneurs are able to be more successful, where a lot of professional organizations struggle. And these days, this is the age of disruptors. We have seen a whole lot of disruptors coming up, who've come up with new business models, challenging existing paradigms. The thing that works really well is, first of all, is differentiation. Am I just chasing something or somebody or some phenomena I've seen, or am I creating something new? That's very, very important, because without a differentiation, there is very little chance to succeed. Of course, there's a difference in execution. I have an idea, somebody is not execute, and somebody else has been doing it. They've not done it well, and I will do it better. But differentiation can be both in execution, but more also how the idea how it reaches out to the customer, consumer, whoever it is meant for. So I think the differentiation is one thing that is, I would say, very central to anything that you're going to launch, you're going to build on. A product, a service, a business model, and that has to be embedded. Differentiation has to be embedded in the insights. Now, insights come from basic observation of a consumer. If I may say, if you are in a consumer product space, that what is that will change the situation? What do they need? What is the solve you're looking for? And therefore, what will you be able to deliver that the existing products, services are not able to do? And will it be sustainable, or is it just a gimmick? Just having a small gimmick will not help. Something more fundamental, something that you'll be able to do better, significantly from a customer's expectation point of view, that has a better chance to solve. And it can also be, these days people are so much concerned about the environment. It could also be that I give them the best product, but it's not environment friendly. So what is that bothering my customer that I'm going to be solving for? And therefore, whether it is an experience, or a concern or something else, So having an insight for your customer, what do they need, uh, and differentiation based on that from existing products or services. I think those are some of the very, very strong fundamentals that really help you succeed. Of course, there are more challenges in this journey because there is resources required, there is execution required, there's a discipline of execution required, because it is very difficult to just do it, because there are incumbents who built it, who built a learning and capability over the years. So those are the other pieces that you need to be. And if I were to add the last one, which is learning, you could call it adaptability, agility, or learning. But because what you started off sometimes changes, or the customer or the competition responds. So your ability to respond very quickly and change according to. So those could be some of the important pieces in building your business, your product, your service that you want to really build on.
Wow, that is such an insightful answer, and it makes you think of so many things that we probably have not thought of before. So, thank you, sir, for that answer. You've spoken about how differentiation is so important, and you've talked about how we can look at, I think, long-term solutions for the customers, and that should be our priority. And towards the end of the answer, you spoke about change. I think one of the major changes that has taken place in the past few years has been the entire concept of digitization in the FMCG sector and in the FMCG industry. As a leader in this industry, as a leader in this industry, I'm sorry, what do you think is your take on the entire digitization of the FMCG sector as a whole?
So, so it's a big change. It's changing the way digitization is changing a lot of ways of working for the better. So digitization is happening from across the value chain, from a consumer's perspective. How we interact with our consumers, how do we reach out to consumers? And again, consumer interactions are at two levels. One is, how do I deliver my message, my advertising, communication, or saying, look, I have a better, my comp plan is better than say something of the competition. So how do you say that? And therefore, digitization is happening from that end, because you're not just reaching out through the TV, and TV is also digitized today, but also through the digital route of YouTube and social media, etc., etc. Also at the touch points that the consumer is open to doing it. So, and you can also adapt one-to-one communication. So if you were to say there are X number of types of consumers, so you can adapt. And today it is technology does provide you some of those things. So you can actually segment consumers and say that reach out your messaging sharper rather than one size fits all. So that's one major advantage of digitization at the front end. The other side is the digital aided purchases from a consumer's point of view, that e-commerce. 10 years back, I was one of the people who believed that digital access to FMCG brands was hard because it's a low price product. The ticket size is small, 50 rupees, 100 rupees, it will not be viable. But I think the models have evolved, technology has evolved, and we are seeing very large platforms emerging out of it. And consumers have access at a very different way today. So much so that it is driving huge businesses around it. So clearly, I think consumer engagement from a company's point of view, both in how we communicate to the consumer and how we sell to the consumer, is changing. Then I'm going back to the whole value chain. How do we provide to the, how do we manufacture? How do we source? How do we plan for it? For example, we have about 180 SKUs, stock keeping units. And planning has been, while we've been using Excel, etc., but there are today amazing digital tools that with intelligence, artificial intelligence enabled, which help you plan even better, which reduces the manual intervention and chances of error. So you are able to have the right product at the right place efficiently without increasing your inventory, which is a cost, because every time you increase your inventory, it comes at a price. So therefore you are able to, so a e-commerce partner wants a certain kind of product You sell a certain kind of product. So they typically organized trade, modern trade and e-commerce want larger SKUs. In rural, I want small SKUs, the sachets and the small price packs. And the urban market is different. So how do I ensure my right product is reaching at the right place without losing sales? Now that whole planning and then manufacturing plan at multiple plants that we would have. So you can digitize the whole process. And that is making us more efficient and giving better customer service. And it is as we scale up, it is making us compete even better than with the competition. So making us more efficient, giving a better customer service, and compete better. So I think it started off as, I think, a competitive edge, but I going forward, I see digitization is an imperative. Today, some of us there are companies who are way ahead of us, but I think we are still ahead of many others who've taken some of these initiatives. But tomorrow, a company to operate in this sector will need some of these as a basic requirement to compete, because otherwise it becomes extremely hard to operate a certain scaled up operations.
Wow, that is true. I think the point that you talked about how digitization has become so imperative that we have to incorporate it in every facet of our life. And I'm sure in every facet of your step by step way of going ahead with your business and with your consumer interaction. And so, picking the question a little different, like one of the things that happened even before digitization was AI powered solutions, and they've been gaining popularity for quite some time now, especially in the FMCG industries, and they've been creating opportunities. Do you think that labor intensive methods of production would still be used in the coming years, because AI has taken so much of, I think, that entire chain of production or entire chain of operation, that we're not sure how much of labor intensive techniques would be used in the coming future? What do you think about it?
So it's an interesting question. It's a point which has been debated for a long point of time, that technology will reduce the need for people. Yes and no, both. Uh, Let me answer the no first, and I'll give you why look at only production. I'll give you a front end example, and then I go back to manufacturing as well.
Right.
So we have we've given handhelds. Basically, it's an app based uh, thing where our salesmen, and we have got about 2,000 of us through our distributors, etc., and partners. Now, when they're taking orders, so they have to enter the the stock available with the retail store. We service about 500,000 outlets. So they enter an outlet, they take the stock, and then they take the orders, apart from doing other things like merchandising. Now, with the app, because they have the history of how the retailer, the customer has been buying, and they have seen basis of their history, they can actually, the AI enabled app actually suggests the right order for the customer. So earlier it was at the memory of a shopkeeper. Let's go to a small kirana, a grocer. Now he is dealing with 2,000 SKUs at any given point of time. A small one at a 200 and a bigger one about 3 to 4,000 also. So let's take a 1.5, 2,000 SKUs that a grocer is keeping. He cannot remember.
No, obviously.
What to order. I mean, I have 500 and 1,000, a Unilever, ITC, etc. So you could just keep running into crazy numbers. So if I told him, if my salesman went there, and these are not necessarily highly educated, but if he can just look at him, this is your rate of sale. You sold 8 pieces from last time, and you have stock of 6. I suggest you take 14 pieces, which will take care of when I come back next week, you will have this covered. The retailer. So it helps me create a win-win, and AI has been able to do some of these things. The season is coming. There's summer products. For example, Nycil sells more in summers. So if say summer is coming, and therefore this is the time to stock up. Otherwise, he is operating out of memory.
Correct.
AI helps in improving productivity, efficiency of a system. And it is not just that I'm doing away with the salesman. It is just getting him better, more productive.
Okay.
So it is not necessarily a bad thing from that point of view. That's gonna let me reduce the people. It will make those people more productive, because finally it is a aided selling. There is a, as long as this shopkeeper is there and I need to service him, I'll need this. Of course, there are technologies in future where he could buy it on WhatsApp also,
Hmm.
but I think we'll have to see. Some of those things will happen and some of those things will not happen. Like in war, people talk about men, soldiers and robots.
Yes,
So will
that.
robots completely remove soldiers? We'll have to wait and watch. But today, AI is actually enabling better productivities. Let's go to a plant. Now, plant, if there's a labor intensive process, AI cannot do. What AI can do actually is, so first I need a basic level of automation for AI to start helping me take it to the next level. And that, of course, a certain level of automation will reduce people, and that is about the whole productivity.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's not a bad thing. We also need to come out of a zone that we were a country which was low productivity, lot of manpower. Our growth rates of this country have started now, becoming more manageable, and more people are getting educated. They can be employed in several places. So let's not worry about people will go out of jobs with automation coming. It will make them more productive. Let's think about how this country will become a huge manufacturing hub. For example, China has done, which the government is trying to do, and rightly so. I think there will be jobs for all, and how do we get better productivities for the people employed there, rather
Right.
than worry that people will lose jobs, and it'll be yes, we have to reduce the labor intensive some of those pieces and get automation in, but we'll still need a lot of people to do things.
So you believe that automation or AI coming in will make people more effective and it will increase the rate of production, and it is for the better. But you don't think that people would be losing out on jobs because we will probably be able to upskill them and transfer them to other jobs? Like,
Absolutely, and that's the approach we need to have. If you look at a micro level, yes, somebody may lose in one plant, but look at the number of plants that are going to be opened up. The government is putting, I mean, I was reading 76,000 crores of PLI, the support they're putting for semiconductors.
wow.
So imagine the number of plants that will come up. So even if they're all automated, AI enabled, they'll still need people, right? So imagine the number of industries that are getting set up. So there is a big opportunity, and we should not shy away from embracing technologies. It will be good for our people.
Wow. I think that is something that everybody needed to hear or needed to be assured upon, because a lot of people have this belief and I think myth. Now that I've heard your answer, I can safely call it that people would be out of jobs and AI is not a good thing. But thank you for throwing light and telling us that AI is something that will assist us. It is for our help, and it will ensure that we will be able to upskill people and take them to newer job opportunities rather than getting them completely out of a job. So thank you for breaking that myth for a lot of us. And I think the next aspect that we would want to discuss with you, because we have you here, is that we see in this fast paced environment a lot of new FMCG trends are emerging every other day, like because of this entire move towards getting greater competition and moving towards selling the best kind of products. Everybody in this fast paced environment wants success at a very short in a very short period of time. So because of that, the trends are emerging every single day. How do you ensure that you're always at the top of your game and you continue to maintain your position as the leader that you are?
So there are fads and there are trends. So things can happen. Some of the things which are temporary in nature, and some are longer term trends, bigger trends that, and it is again another example where it takes a skill to, and therefore a human intervention to be able to segregate the two. It's very, very important to be able to look at it. Some of these trends take a period of time to build up and accentuate. A good example, if I could give you, will be that if you look at in last 10-15 years, I've seen, even when I was a kid, the government was educating consumers, on reading the labels right, weights and measures, read these things, read the label properly. But last 10 years, and you will see that each one of us as consumers, read the label, read the date on the back.
Yes.
We are conscious about health. We look at what is the protein content, what is the carb, what is the calorie on practically everything we are having, right? So I may not be the right one, but I'm sure there are enough people who can tell you what is the calorie count of chapati, rice, bread, etc., etc., etc. So today, I think this consciousness about food as a way to build your health has been there for 10 years. But last 2-3 years, imagine what has changed substantially. Now, COVID came, and first 6 months or 3 months, nobody knew what was the solution to it. There was no medicine. There was vaccines came much later. Vaccines came a year later. So food was your only medicine. It said that if the difference between people badly affected or people less affected or surviving is the difference is immunity. And how will you strengthen your immunity? Take some vitamin C's, some minerals, have the right food. And there were enough people. So food was your immunity. Food was your medicine. The fact is that the concern on healthy food was building up. That trend has just got accentuated. And that exactly is the point. So trends don't happen overnight. Over last 5 to 10 years, it was building up. It has got heightened and it has moved at a much faster pace. Today, people are more concerned about, does it have too much of sugar? Is it going to be healthy for me? Is it going to harm my health? So people are concerned. So taste has remained important for food. But so to my mind, some of the trends, things are changing at a very, very fast pace. But some of these trends move at a much faster pace when there are inflection points like COVID is. And how do you handle those? I think very important, it comes back to the first points that we were talking about, knowing your customer, listening and focusing on observation and insights. That is the only way, because a good example, I think a lot of people tell me about Steve Jobs, how he was able to build, he was the greatest innovating leader that we've seen in the recent past. And, example people tell me is that he would not spend a penny on research. Somebody told me. So why do you spend money on the research? There are two ways of doing it. And that's where the difference between entrepreneurs and professionals come. Entrepreneurs have the eye for detail or insights, which is of a different order. But the important part was, and there was a good example, when he was traveling and he was, I think, on the West Coast, and he would travel to New York, and he said he would tell his team that I would rather stay at Queens rather than on this side, Manhattan side, because there are younger people in Queens, and I would like to interact and understand what is that they are more interested about. So it is about observation, knowing. So it's not, he was creating stuff for the new. He was not the inventor of MP3, but his iPod was in sync with what consumers wanted. Correct. So it was not the best MP3 player. I'm sure there are technology guys who would have done better, but he was adapting to what consumers needed. So now either you do a formal research or you have the capability of a Steve Jobs. So not everyone will have that skill, but clearly knowing the trends is important. Now, either you have that talent inside you or you rely on a structured process around it. But skill still is required to be able to make your choices around what is the right trend and how do you adapt to it, and therefore offer the right solutions to the consumers and help build the valuable business.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir. I think that whole Steve Jobs example that you've given has told us that, okay, being on top of the trends and interaction and probably having a structured process by knowing what that needs to be done and how people are responding and what they really desire is very important to know. in any sector, especially I think FMCG. So with your permission, sir, there's one I think students really want to know,
Sure.
something very personal, which is work-life balance is very important in any field, right? And we want to know from the top leaders, because the students, I'll be very honest with you, in their own college life, where they know as a matter of fact that they just have to balance probably academics and some other aspects of their life, and they haven't really started working, they have not started exploring life at a major level, and they still find it very hard to balance. So a lot of them have the question that how do top industry leaders do it when they know they have so much of work that needs to get done, they have their personal lives to take care of, they have a social life, because as leaders you're invited to many social gatherings and you want to interact with people and also talk to them about it. How do you balance and manage all of this, which sounds so challenging given limited time in a day?
So I think if you ask me, one of the important things that one has to learn through the journey in life is time management and prioritization. I think that is a key thing for anything you do, because quite often we get carried away in our priorities, in our, there are so many push and pulls of life
Hmm.
that being able to prioritize and setting time aside for what is most important to you is
Hmm.
the most important thing. Uh, 24 hours is never going to be enough. Uh, if I'm, for example, handling an X amount of responsibility, but
Hmm.
I'm ambitious, so I want to handle X plus Y. Now, will I have the time to be able to devote for that? I may not have. So being able to prioritize and let go. But often managers, leaders, people are not able to let go. So therefore, being able to let go, prioritizing your time and managing your time. Sometimes you can't do same things all the time, all the while. Uh,
Right.
I'll give you an example. When I had joined 7 years back, Zydus Wellness, we were a 400 odd crore company.
Hmm.
Growth was less. We had a clearly task to grow it faster. And I was spending disproportionate time with the team, working sometimes late hours. We were doing a lot of, roll up the sleeves and get it done
Intensive.
kind of situation.
Hmm.
Uh, and we did turn it around. We moved things much faster. And when the Heinz acquisition came around and we acquired the business, and we had two organizations practically same size in number of people, size of Heinz was bigger, and we had to make it one business. It can't remain as two businesses. It had to become Zydus Wellness. And the size of, the value of two was had to be more than two. Now I don't have time of, one plus 2x size of that
Yeah,
business. I
obviously.
don't have that time. So empowering my colleagues who are very capable, and having, first of all, having the right partners within your team to work with you, and empowering and enabling them to take the right decisions, lead and manage those things was as crucial. And therefore I can sit back and say that this is what I can do and this is what I not do by choice. I mean, let others do. And those are things that you learn on the way. But this is one of the most crucial part of the journey of growth, that how do we manage our time, prioritize what is important to us.
One second, sir. I'm sure there's some error. We'll just check. Yes, someone unfortunately unmuted themselves by mistake.
No
Sorry, sir,
problem.
you were saying. Yes.
So what I'm saying is, at this, I mean, in
Having
life,
a
balancing and knowing what is most important to you is very, very important.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, nobody can tell you you need to have a work-life balance. Nobody can tell you you need to work hard. You need to choose your own priorities. So I
Right.
was pushing very, very hard late hours by my choice. Quite often, as the head of the business, I didn't make people wait long hours. If
Hmm.
somebody had to go, they would go at time. So I
Right.
was choosing to stretch, but there was a point in time I needed to balance back, and I could. And I also give that shared that responsibility onto my colleagues who were ready to take it. And I think that's where the whole crux is: ability
Right.
to prioritize and uh, let people do what they're best at.
So one thing that I really take back from your answer is that it's all about prioritization, and it's all about knowing that what is really important for you and having a good team that you can rely upon. I think one of the challenges the youth of today is facing is that they're probably prioritizing work. Okay, work's really important. Then they're prioritizing family, and then they just somehow, I mean, that's been my observation interacting with the youth that I do at an everyday basis, that self improvement takes a back seat. They don't invest a lot of time in upskilling themselves. So, if you could tell us, how important do you think it is? And do you think at all that they should definitely invest some time in it?
I'm worried if somebody is not spending, even at this state, having 26, 27 years of work life. I have to be abreast with what's happening outside to understand what is the newer things that are happening. The whole digital piece, I
Hmm.
didn't learn it. There are people around me who are helping me think through it.
Hmm.
So I think anyone who is not adapting, who's not learning every day, who's not upskilling, will
Hmm.
become
Really?
redundant soon.
Hmm.
So I think, especially the youth at the early stage, in fact, first 5 years of the life, I didn't care about what is the money I earn or etc.
Wow.
It was more about, am I learning? So there were, in any case, money should always be an outcome. But in your career, I always felt, you know, the first question that needs to be answered is, am I learning? And more so in the first 5 years, 10 years. Uh, and do I have an important responsibility? And am I having fun doing what I do? Because that is very, very important. Uh, if you don't enjoy what you do, then you'll struggle.
Then
Uh,
monotony will kick in,
yeah,
probably.
because even if it is a monotonous job, you have to like it. No? Otherwise, you will not give your best. And
Hmm.
when you don't give your best, the chance of success is even lower. So if you really are somebody who's ambitious, who wants to grow professionally and personally, then you need to like what you do. And that is clearly very important, but you have to be learning
Then
all the time
upskilling.
to grow.
Wow. Thank you, sir. I think to all the students who are listening to this, I agree with sir. And sir's told us so much that about he's worried if you're not upskilling yourself. So yes, work is important, family is important, but spending some time for your self-improvement is extremely important. So we have a few students who would like to interact with you. And with your permission, would it be okay to call some of them?
Certainly, certainly.
I would like to call Miss Aditi Agarwal to please ask the question that she's been waiting to ask, sir. Aditi, can you hear me? Could you please unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Over to you.
Good morning, sir. So, consumers are becoming more conscious about climate change and its impact on the environment. So, they tend to pay more attention to a company's social activity and seek those that help them in making more responsible choices. How do you take this into consideration at Zydus?
So, what you're saying is absolutely correct. We are aware that consumers are conscious about the environment, the climate change. Unfortunately, that number is still very small. But we are quite conscious about how do we contribute to the environment. In fact, we just concluded our board meeting yesterday and the quarterly results. So one of the agendas we have today is that how do we really work on what is now in the industry very common parlance is ESG scores or ESG, which is environment and social and governance. And environment is one of the most crucial agendas for any company. So it's becoming table stakes to do well. And you're right, consumers today, that number is small, but tomorrow that number is going to be huge. And if we are not up to it, we could actually have a competitive disadvantage if we do not get that right. A good example, we do not publicize it enough, but we should, I guess, is, for example, we are launching new packaging for one of our brands, Lysin. Uh, the conscious effort is, how do I reduce plastic? I want a better consumer experience because we had earlier it was okay, but we did once in a while find some complaints in the opening. So we said, how do we improve the consumer experience, which is extremely crucial for the brands to do well, but very importantly, reduce the plastics we use. And fortunately, and good thing is, that something good for the climate does not mean it is high cost for me. It may have been a higher capex if at all, but capital expenditure is okay. But reducing plastic is also good for me from a financial point of view because plastic is a cost to me. So therefore, I believe the environment and business are not at uh, conflict with each other, really, if you do it right, if you think it correctly. And therefore, we are quite conscious of it. There are several projects like these which we are running. Maybe at a point of time, we will be doing some, at least sharing it with a lot of our stakeholders uh, in point of time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure Aditi is more than glad to receive that answer, and all of us have learned from it. Next, we would like to call on Abhay Agarwal. Abhay, am I audible? Yes. Over to you, Abhay.
Good morning, sir. So today consumers have become considerably more cautious about their health parameters, demanding new tastes. Whereas the pandemic has reinforced the benefits of natural home remedies. So, sir, how do you think that one can attain a balance between authentic nutritional values and the need for new variety in the products?
Sorry, could you repeat? I had some disturbance in the.
Definitely, sir. So today, consumers have become considerably more cautious about their health parameters, demanding new tastes. Whereas the pandemic has reinforced the benefits of natural home remedies. How do you think one can attain a balance between authentic nutritional values and the need for new variety in the products?
Oh, sure. So I think today, and I was alluding to some of these things also. So when you look at food, consumers are, you know, today they're aware of the best tasting products globally available. People are seeking variety. People are seeking whole lot of interest experiences. You will find products. Uh, a good example will be, say, the wafer chips, etc., available, and they come from Sichuan flavor to some Italian flavor to some, Japanese kind of flavor. So people are the fusion on food and the taste is amazing. You have Sichuan dosa, so these are fusion is happening because people are seeking variety. People are seeking taste as it's a key criteria for food to have. Uh, on the other side, and I think the health focus has been so much happening now. Maybe it's because of technology or we have upgraded our formulation skills. These again can be worked together. There was, I remember 10 years back, I can't name the brand because it's somebody else's brand. They launched some healthy chips or a snacks kind of thing. And I was very quick to get onto it that healthy should try it. It was not tasting right. Today, I think formulation capabilities actually exist where one is able to deliver a better benefit without compromising a taste. Some of the things we've also got conscious about is, for example, we've launched chocolate spread under brand Neutralite. It's available only in modern trade and e-commerce. But what we're trying to do is we said, okay, let's have calcium enriched so that every serving has enough calcium that is equivalent to a glass of milk. Or we have quinoa, which is added to it, which is therefore is a rich source of protein. So I think what we did not realize when we said, can we add quinoa? It was something we experimented by the formulation team, R&D team, and it just added a taste, a crunchiness, uh, which has lifted the taste to the next level and also offering protein. So I don't think it is difficult today. There is enough technologies, there are enough choices available with a variety of ingredients available to be able to balance. And quite a few consumers today are more conscious about using natural ingredients, and you were absolutely right. So a whole lot of companies have come up with natural ingredient based products. The key issue is two, if I were to look at it, the authenticity of what they claim uh, and sufficiency of that claim. And of course, the second issue is the differentiation, because if I have aloe vera juice and you can also do it at your home, So what do I bring to the table other than convenience? So some of those things, but that's a problem to be solved for them. But I'm saying this is clearly a trend which is got at least here to stay for some time, where people are seeking natural ingredients because they trust them a little bit more today than ever before. It's resurgence of Ayurveda and naturalness. Naturalness was building up. Ayurveda was struggling a little bit, but I think it's resurrected itself. And of course, taste seeking is high. So health and taste with some natural ingredients, they're all coming together. So you're right. And there is enough and more people are experimenting with.
Thank you, sir, for that answer. I think you really managed to help us understand how taste and health is going together and how everybody is more focused on it. So even the industry has realized it and they're customizing accordingly. And they've made sure that they are on the same page as the customers. And I think that is one of the reasons of success of so many FMCG brands. So we've come to the end of the question session by the students. And we would like to, first of all, thank you for all your insights and for all your experiences that you've shared with us, right from telling us how differentiation is so important in the industry and how making sure that your product stands out in some way or the other, to going ahead and telling us that how we are not to be afraid of digitization or artificial intelligence for that matter, and how automation can not take away the jobs but empower us and upskill us for better jobs. So losing out is not something we should be afraid of. We should accept digitization because it's only empowering us and taking us on a better journey than we are currently, and telling the students how it's so important to maintain a balance and at the same time invest in their own growth and improvement every single day, especially like you said, the first 5 years of their life. It should be more about learning something new wherever they are working and having fun at what they do. So thank you so much. I think the students have taken up some beautiful messages from your talk. And we would now like to end the session by calling upon the MC who would take the proceedings forward. Personally, I would just like to say it's been an absolute pleasure for me to interact with you and to be able to host this interview and take your insights. Thank you so much for sharing all your experiences with me. And at a personal level, and I'm sure I can say this on behalf of all the students, that we've learned so much today. We are taking back so much from this session that we are eternally grateful to you for being here with us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
I hand it back over to the MC of the event.
As we conclude this session, I would like to thank our distinguished speakers, Mr. Tarun Arora and Ms. Archita Tiwari, for enriching us with such a thought-provoking session today. Engaging with a man of thoughts and a personality like yours is an absolute honor. We sincerely appreciate you both taking out time from your busy schedules and joining us today. Ma'am, I would also like to thank you for delivering such a thought-provoking session with Sir and conducting everything so effortlessly. Now, I would like to invite Professor Soheli Ghosh, Dean of BCom Evenings in Xavier College, Kolkata Autonomous, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good afternoon. Reverend Father Dominic Savio, SJ Principal, Reverend Father Peter Arokiam, SJ Vice Principal, Professor Shogata Banerjee, Dean, Mr. Tarun Arora, our Honorable Speaker, Ms. Archita Tiwari, our Moderator, dignitaries, faculty members, students, ladies and gentlemen. I'm both honored and humbled for getting the opportunity to propose the vote of thanks today. At the outset, I thank the Almighty for giving us the strength to understand and withstand these trying times. It is truly a miracle that in spite of the toll that this pandemic has taken on all of us, we are here today to attend this enriching session. I thank Reverend Father Dominic Savio, SJ Principal, for his blessings, vision, erudition, and inspiration, without which this program could not have been possible. Thank you, Father, for leading us with courage, commitment, and conviction. I thank Reverend Father Peter Arokiam, SJ, Vice Principal, for his constant support, encouragement, leadership, and blessings. Thank you, Father, for being our biggest strength. I thank our honorable speaker for the session, Mr. Tarun Arora, for taking out time from his extremely busy schedule and enriching us with his thought-provoking deliberation today. Sir, each and every answer that you have given is truly thought-provoking and helps us as well as the students to understand the importance of wellness and, as you said in your last part, Ayurveda and natural products today. Thank you so much, sir. I thank our moderator, Ms. Archita Tiwari, for gracing this event with her presence and seamlessly moderating this session. I thank Professor Shogata Banerjee, Dean, Department of Management Studies, for his suggestions, support, and zeal. Thank you, sir. I thank Dr. Shukunna Sharkir, PIC, Xavier's Management Society, for organizing this session and leading XMS to greater heights. Thank you, madam. I thank Dr. Shupriyo Patro and all the faculty members for their commitment and contribution towards making this program a huge success. I thank all the members of Xavier's Management Society for their meticulous planning, attention to detail, and diligence. I thank the technical team for their indispensable support, without which this virtual session would not have been possible. Now, no program can be successful without the interaction of an attentive audience. I thank all the participants and students for their active participation and the important and relevant questions that they have asked. Finally, I thank the MC for conducting this program beautifully. I hope and pray that all of us keep well to take up new challenges of this new normal in future. And I once again thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to propose today's vote of thanks. Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. Your consistent encouragement keeps the students focused. With that, we've come to the end of today's discussion. All the students, please stay back for a short announcement.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Father, and thank you to the students. Thank you, sir. We'll request your leave for now.
We would once again like to extend a note of thanks to all our sponsors without whom this event would not have been possible. Skydine, a one-of-a-kind rooftop cafe, restaurant, and a lounge, offers lip-smacking ambrosial array of platters in a celestial ambience with DJ, live music, concerts, and much more. It provides a mesmerizing experience, transforming your little moments into unforgettable memories with a ravishing overview of the city. Book Skydine today for your special day to get the best experience and value. Our next sponsor, Shiva Commercial Corporation, is a leading brand of Rampuria Group involved in manufacturing and distribution of various industrial minerals and chemicals. The company has its footprints in industries such as pharma, paper, ceramics, food, cosmetics, and much more, to name a few. The company has had the experience of serving top brands across India for the past 4 decades. Rampuria Group has another vertical involved in 3P manufacturing and distribution of medicines and medical equipment, which is fast growing. They have further expansion plans in adding new products to their portfolio and venturing into new business verticals. Attendees, we have another insightful session lined up with Mr. Ashok Ramchandran, President of Schindler India, South Asia, from 12:30 p.m. onwards. We sincerely hope that you should join the next session and keep up the high spirit. Attendance forms have been rolled out. All the students are requested to fill the attendance forms. Please check the chat box and kindly do the needful. Thank you.